All right. Hi, everybody. I know some of you already. I haven't met all of you, but I'm Julie Crane with Covenant Outreach. And Donna had asked me to come and talk a little bit about healthy eating during the holidays. And so I must admit, my husband came up with this title. I thought it was pretty witty. Oh my, I ate the whole pie. Unfortunately, in the holidays, that can happen, right? And one of the things I think that you need to think about during the holiday season, and I was just talking to someone earlier about this, is that as far as healthy eating and losing weight, you really don't want to start the week before Thanksgiving and say, that's it, I'm going to start losing a whole bunch of weight by January 1st. That's kind of setting yourself up for failure, because then you have Thanksgiving and then you have all of the little treats and all the holiday parties, right? So just that's one of the things. Try not to focus on losing weight. Maybe try to just maintain your weight. Don't set unrealistic goals. A lot of people do that. And unfortunately, if you set unrealistic goals, for example, if you say, by December 1st, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, okay, that's not realistic, okay? And so then you're going to get frustrated with yourself because you don't meet your goal, okay? So like I said, during the holidays, trying to just maintain weight. I don't know who put this in my office, but someone hung it up in my office a long time ago, and I kept it up there because I thought it was cute. These two little girls are looking at the scale, and the one tells the other one, don't step on that, it makes you cry. And I was like, I like that, right? So, anyway. Oh, I must have hit something, sorry. Not bad. Okay, all right, sorry. Okay. General rules, try to continue to buy healthy foods, try to buy fruits, vegetables, eat on a regular schedule. One of the things that a lot of us tend to do is say, oh, I've got a party tonight to go to, so let me just not eat all day. Well, then what happens? You're starving, right? And then you just eat everything, and then you're stuffed, and you don't feel well, and okay. So try to keep a regular schedule. I'm not saying don't eat any of the holiday treats. I like holiday treats too. It's just a matter of trying to keep portion control. So trying to limit yourself, again, not eating the whole pie, right? That kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. You can, if you want to be really healthy, you can make yourself a fruit Christmas tree, but I've never done that, but I think it's kind of cute. Okay, so like I mentioned, fruits and vegetables, controlling portions. Another thing is trying not to serve family-size meals where you have like the big old pots and everything on the table, right? Which most of us do, I know, right? But the thing about that is then, oh my gosh, we eat too much, right? So it really is better to make your plate and then, leave the food separate, which I know a lot of us don't do. But the other thing about that is if you're one, if you can't control, let's say you're going to your grandparents' house, and that's what they always do, and you don't want to be rude and say, no, Julie said I can't do this family style stuff, right? So in that case, you just might have to allow yourself a plate and then maybe sit as far away as you can from all the food so that you don't go get more. Okay, so, there's always strategies, things that you could do. Okay, getting enough sleep. I just finished a weight loss management program just yesterday, and one of the things they were talking a lot about is that if you don't get enough sleep, there's certain hormones in your body that actually increase and they make you hungrier. And so there's a lot of research out there showing that people that do not get enough sleep tend to be overweight and tend to be heavier, okay? So another thing is it may have you may prefer high fat or high sugar foods. For example, a lot of times when people really snack on foods that are not healthy for them, it's nighttime, right? So if you're someone that's staying up late at night watching shows and then you don't get enough rest because you got to get up the next morning and go to school or go to work. Oh, do that, huh? She does, yeah, okay. People are pointing at each other now. Okay. Or it might be playing video games late at night, I'm thinking, Yeah, see, he's admitting. Good job, okay. But anyway, so that's important. And so that's usually when we are snacking on the high-fat, high-sugar foods. And that's one of the things, like a lot of people will come to me and say, well, so is it true that I can't eat past 6 p.m.? It's not true in that that's the only way you can eat healthy, but that said, there's a lot of people that after dinner is when they're snacking on things that are not healthy. So if you're one of those people, it might help you to say, okay, after dinner I'm done, okay? This says aim for 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night. That's for an adult. Children generally need more. Again, the training that I was doing, they said sometimes they need up to 10 hours a night. He doesn't agree with that. But, I mean, really, they need quite a bit of sleep, and so that is very important. Okay, all right. Now, this is for the adults, but beware of alcohol. A lot of times people don't realize how many calories they're consuming with alcohol, whether it be sugar calories or whatever. And the other thing is, we know that alcohol can diminish our inhibitions, but it can also lead to overeating because you're really not quite all with what you're doing, and so you might end up eating and not even realize you've eaten. Or, I've heard of people that say, they wake up the next day and they say, I don't know what I did the night before, that kind of thing. I'm not a drinker, so I don't do that, but I mean, some people do. So, I mean, in that case, who knows what you consume. But I actually have a really good example of this. I saw, I want to say she was early well, no, not teens, 20s. She was drinking age, I promise, but she was a college student years ago, and she came to me and she was complaining because she kept gaining weight or she couldn't lose weight, and she was so frustrated. And so we went over what she'd been doing as far as during the week, and she was eating real healthy and everything. Then we got to the weekend, and she was still eating healthy, but she was going to a lot of parties, and she was drinking quite a bit of alcohol. And come to find out, that's what her problem was. So it can add up. A lot of people don't think about the drinks, but that can definitely add up. Okay. This one's a little bit harder for people, but waiting 10 seconds, okay? It says take 10 before seconds. Sorry. It's not waiting 10 seconds. Can you imagine just 10 seconds? Anyway, waiting 10 minutes. I apologize. The seconds means like taking a second portion, okay? But waiting 10 minutes before you get up and have a second helping, trying to drink some water maybe, even just having conversation versus right away getting, oh my gosh, my plate's empty, let me go get more, right? Okay? Allow yourself time, okay? And you're not in a race to get second portions faster than your neighbor, okay? That's not, okay? In fact, if they get them first, that might be better because then you won't get them, right? So just make sure that you're taking time, eating slow. And again, that's another reason not to skip meals or snacks before you go somewhere to a party or whatever, because if you do that, then you'll be more hungry and then you'll tend to eat too much. And I know even for myself, if I'm really, really hungry what happens is I tend to eat too much, like really fast. You eat real fast because you're just so hungry. And then about 20 to 30 minutes later, oh my goodness, you feel terrible. Well, because you ate too much. Okay? Okay. So, and then again, rechecking your appetite. It could be that you are actually still really hungry. But just be mindful, be thinking. Okay. Be aware of leftovers. I love leftovers, I'm not going to lie. I love leftovers, but you got to be careful with leftovers, okay? And sometimes, if you're someone that they're just going to tempt you, let's say you made 2 pecan pies and everybody ate the pumpkin pie and you still have a whole pecan pie left, right? Okay, so if that's the case, give some pieces to other people so that you don't have the whole pie at home just looking at you. She's No, I'm not. Yeah, nuh-uh. I spent some long time on making that pecan pie.
Where's the whipped cream?
Oh, yeah. And pecans aren't cheap either, so I am not doing that. Yeah. Anyway, so sending it home with guests, if possible. Another option is if you don't want to send it home with guests, you can portion it out and put it in the freezer. That's what my mom's always done when we were, growing up. If she had extras, especially the turkey dressing, whatever, put it in smaller portions and put it in the freezer so that you don't feel like I have to get to it right now and eat it. Okay? I think I got ahead of myself, sorry. All right, so another option though, besides just putting them in the freezer, try not to make too much food, okay? And then this is suggesting, hey, get your plate made, put all the leftovers in dishes, put them in the freezer, and then sit down and eat. I don't know, that doesn't sound too realistic because then your food's gonna be cold. What are you doing? She's having a good old time. Hi, hi. Anyway, try not to make too much food. I know a lot of us, we want to make sure that we have enough food for everybody, so we tend to make way too much. And sometimes that's the issue with why we're eating too much is just because, oh my gosh, there's so much food, right? Okay. Use small plates or bowls, okay? Just because it's Thanksgiving doesn't mean you have to have a big old plate, okay? So, that can help you control your portions. Again, once you fill your plate, put the rest away. This does not always work. It depends on who you're dealing with. My husband, I tried to help him at one point, and I gave him a little plate, Yeah, and he just complained, and he kept going back and getting more, so that didn't work. But I tried, right? Okay. Okay. Another thing is, I really like this picture. It goes really along well with this slide. We generally eat more when there's a variety. You go to a potluck and there's so much stuff, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I got to try this and this and this and this and this. So this kind of suggests, look the food over, versus just starting and going, oh, I got to try, oh, I got to try, oh, I got to try that, oh, I got to, right? Kind of look it over and what are the 3 or 4 things that I really, really would like? Let me get those, have those, and then see if you think you have to try something, just a little teaspoon of it. You don't have to have a big amount of it, okay? But if you don't like it, then you're wasting a bunch, okay? So, all right. Be aware of parties. I already kind of mentioned that, but try to have a healthy snack before you go to a party. Again, if you don't do that, you tend to eat more because you're going to be hungry. And also, try to get away from the food table. That was kind of like I was talking about. But a lot of times at a party, it's a little bit easier to stay away from the food table because usually it's kind of in the corner and everyone's kind of walking around. So if the food's all right here, don't stand right here and visit with people because you're going to keep grabbing stuff, okay? Don't do that. Get away from it, okay? It's going to tempt you. And sometimes you won't even realize you're doing it, and all of a sudden it's just, you've eaten a whole bunch more than you meant to. Okay. So if you host a party, or maybe you're asked to bring something to a party, try to bring something healthy. Fruits, vegetables, low-fat dips, something that you like, that you can have. That way you at least know that there's going to be something healthy available, okay? So I like to try to do that if I'm going to a potluck and they tell me to bring something. I try to bring something that I know that I like that's healthier, because a lot of times you get there and there's nothing else that's healthy, right? So it's important to plan ahead, okay? Okay, this is kind of a funny one, but I really get very passionate about this one because I have a lot of patients or clients that I see that get frustrated because they will go, let's say, to grandma or grandpa's house or mom and dad's house, and they'll literally get guilted into eating even though they're not hungry. and they'll try to tell them, I'm just not hungry. Oh, no, you're hungry. Here, eat this, eat that. Oh, that's frustrating to me. Because I have patients that will come and see me and they're like, I'm trying to lose weight, but I went to my aunt's house and she had this pie and she said I had to have a piece, and I told her I wasn't hungry, but then she gave me a huge piece, and then she got mad because I wasn't eating it and I had to eat, and so it's just, so anyway, so I consider that bullying. I don't, so don't let people bully you into eating something you don't want. And I guess maybe I get passionate about it because I've experienced that before, just at, you go, that I've gone somewhere and people just keep, well, gosh, aren't you going to eat that? Oh, are you going to eat something? And it's like, let me be. Like, I will eat if I'm hungry. Leave me alone. But unfortunately, people also sometimes deal with this, especially during the holidays, if they have like diabetes. Family members will say, you have diabetes. Why are you eating that? You're not supposed to be eating that. Okay. Calmly take a deep breath and say, I know what I should and shouldn't eat. Please just allow me to make my own choices. Okay? And if that doesn't work, I'll give you my number. And no, I'm kidding. But I get mad. I get frustrated because, everybody's human and everybody wants to, enjoy the holidays. And so just because you have diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, I don't feel like that means you can't have any. As a comedian, I don't know if anyone's heard of Brian Regan, but he says, the doctor tells me no happiness. No, that's, but, you can still have some stuff. So I know when I see patients individually and I educate them, and they have a problem with people saying, hey, you have diabetes, you can't have that. I just tell them, I see a dietitian and she's told me what I need to do, and don't worry about me. I'm good. Okay? Worry about yourself. Should you be eating? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Because then you're bullying them. No, you don't want to do that. Okay. So, another thing you can do is modify recipes. So, you don't necessarily have to just totally, make a tofu turkey or something like that. But, there's simple things you can do. And there's a recipe that I did make that you got a copy of, that you'll get a sample of to try at the end. But simple things like using Greek yogurt in place of sour cream. In the recipe that I did, I used a light sour cream versus regular sour cream. When you are doing recipes, you want to be careful. You probably don't want to do like a fat-free sour cream because that's a little extreme. It might not taste as good, okay? But the light is still going to cut back on a lot of the calories, okay? Also, vegetable oil, you can replace that with canola oil. That I like to do with like if I'm making muffins or cookies or anything that calls for oil, I always use the canola oil. The reason the canola oil is better, it's not going to be less calories, but it has a better portion of healthier fats, okay? Whereas your vegetable oil is going to be higher in your saturated fats, which are not healthy for you. Okay, they can increase cholesterol levels. Okay, using 2 egg whites in place of 1 egg, you can definitely do that. If your recipe calls for 4 eggs, I don't know if you want to do 8 egg whites, but you could do 2 regular eggs and 4 egg whites, or you could still adjust it somewhat. Okay. Again, the cream cheese, generally, things still taste good if you do the light cream cheese. Again, any kind of cheese, I don't recommend the fat-free. And it's not that it's not healthy per se, it's that it tastes gross. And I'm just going to be honest, because I'm not going to tell people to eat stuff that I wouldn't eat, okay? And when I had cheese one time, I had bought fat-free cheese, and I tried to microwave it to melt it, and it would not melt, and that disturbed me. So, because I'm thinking, okay, when I eat this, if it's not melting, what does it do in my body, right? So anyway, but that was a long time ago. I'm sure they've made improvements since then. But anyway, but light cream cheese in place of regular cream cheese, that can save you a lot of calories. Okay, evaporated milk in place of cream, that also can save you quite a bit of calories. Okay, Substituting half the oil with applesauce, that actually works really well. Just don't substitute all if it's all applesauce. So like if it says 1 cup oil, don't just do a cup of applesauce. Because you still need some oil in it, okay? But if you do half a cup of oil and half a cup of applesauce, that really does work. As far as the chocolate chips, like it says decrease 1 cup to a half cup mini chocolate chips. A lot of times you're gonna feel like you're still getting the amount of chocolate chips because they're mini ones. So you tend to get more in. So that is something that's helpful. Okay, and then don't forget to exercise. This is a tough one. Who did that? Who did that? That was Donna. Okay, I wasn't sure which one of it. One of you back there did that. That's funny. But sneaking in exercise wherever you can. You might not be able to do like a regular routine if you're used to that. You might not even be used to doing a regular routine, but just even simple things like when you go to the store. You know, if you're at Walmart, don't drive around the parking lot 5 times just so you can get the closest spot, okay? Just, you know, I know people do that, we do that, but, okay, so don't do that. Just, you know, park further away, walk in, you know, walk around the store, that kind of thing. Try just simple things. If you're somewhere, let's say you're at, trying to think of an example. If you're at somewhere where they have stairs, but they also have an elevator. I mean, if you're someone that does not have problems with your knees or hips and stuff, and you can actually walk the stairs, take the stairs instead of the elevator. Now, I understand if you're going from like the bottom floor to the 10th, yeah, the elevator, you know, you don't want to die. You know, I'd be trying to breathe or whatever, but just simple things like that. Even finding little videos on your phone that you can do whenever. There's so many videos out there now, whether it's YouTube or anything, or even simply just when you're maybe cooking, you know, listening to some music and kind of dancing around, moving. I mean, just simple things. If you're one that likes to watch Christmas movies, you know, take breaks in between each movie, or, you know, every half hour or so. Get up, move around, try to do something, okay? So just keeping the exercise routine in is very important. And like I said, it may not be the same routine you're used to. You got to be flexible, but just do the best you can, all right? All right. And then one of the last things I want to say is lose the guilt, okay? If you go to a holiday party and you're thinking, okay, Julie told me what to do, you know, and then you end up standing by it here and, you know, you keep eating and stuff and you're like, oh, man, I screwed up. Well, I'll start again next year. No, don't be so extreme, okay? So you messed up on one time, okay? Just get back up, try to do it again. Don't get stuck in a food rut is what it's saying, okay? Get back to healthy eating habits as soon as you can, okay? So don't beat yourself up over it. You know, it happens. I really like this lady. She says, excuse me, but I didn't fall off the wagon. I jumped. Sometimes that happens, right? We jump and we're like, oh my gosh, and we're rolling, you know, and we can't stop, okay? But just as soon as possible, get yourself calm, you know. Forgive yourself, okay, so you messed up, but that's okay. Next day's a new day, right? So just do the best you can, all right? And happy Thanksgiving. Does anyone have any questions for me? Man, I was so good at oh, okay, yes, go ahead.
So you mean we can't put butter on all that popcorn and seasoning and
Butter and seasoning on your popcorn? Well, moderation, yeah. Definitely, popcorn at the movie theater is not healthy at all. I know it tastes darn good, but it's not healthy.
I pre-ordered mine. It had it laid, the butter laid.
Do not give them bad examples.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
What can you use in place of onions? There's a lot of salads that say you can use onions.
Onions are very healthy.
I can't have onions. Because they sugar migraines.
Oh, then I don't know. I don't know anything
Could
besides.
you have green onion? Does all onions
All
green?
onions.
All onions.
Just want something kosher, you can use watercress.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, look at that. Thank you. Thank you for the idea. 'Cause I was totally lost. I did not know. Yeah, I don't know. Usually I'm like, oh, you want onions? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I get a lot of looks when I tell them I go to the Japanese restaurant on 50th, and I tell them don't put no onions on my food. And they'll ask me why. They said it's something because you don't like the flavor. It's like, no, it's actually medical. I'll get they'll actually do it for me.
Good.
So, but I always have to ask them what's in the sauce. They go,
Yes.
onions, and I can't have the sauce or.
Right. And they don't, yeah. And people don't understand that sometimes. They just think you're being picky.
I do have a suggestion on how to increase the amount of exercise. So this is a rule I have at my house. The only time it doesn't work is when I'm watching PBS. So I have to watch, if I'm watching television, I can watch TV, but I have to get up and move around or exercise while the commercial's on. Then I sit back down, but then so if I'm watching PBS, I just sit there. But any other time, I jump up and I dry dishes, I put on a load of laundry,
That's a good idea.
so whenever there are commercials, and it keeps me from buying extra stuff that I really don't need, because I don't see the commercials.
Yes.
But I get up, as soon as the commercial comes on, I jump up and even if I'm just exercising, if I've done all my housework, I'll just do, I don't know.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, you get lots of commercials, there's a lot more, than there used to be.
That is very true.
Don't binge watch Netflix.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, right. 'Cause then there's no commercials. And I was thinking, if you DVR stuff, then you fast forward through commercials.
Yes.
So I guess you could fast forward through it, pause it, and do some stuff, and then come back. Because really, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and that's one of the things my workout instructor told me. She said, I know you think that you don't have time to stretch or exercise or anything in the evenings, but you really do. Even if you're just watching television, you can get up and do squats or sit-ups. Now, if I'm at home, there's a cat usually trying to climb on me so that I'm extra weight.
Yes.
But no worries. But that's what I do. Is if I'm watching TV and there are commercials, I get up and I exercise or do housework.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Any other thoughts, ideas, questions? Yes.
Did you get one? She wants how they make it just, they do it with just nuts and then they do it with some M&M's or something. Is that still healthy?
Not as healthy, no. I mean, it's better to do.
But candy's not healthy.
Well, gosh, I got a helper up here telling me candy's not healthy. So I bet you don't eat any candy, right? Someone's telling on you. No, yeah, too much candy is not healthy. You're right, exactly. But generally the nut mixtures you do want to watch out for when they, especially like my favorite tasting one, not favorite healthy one, but my favorite tasting one is they've got M&Ms and chocolate chips and butterscotch chip, all that, but that makes it quite unhealthy. Yeah, so it is better to just do the nuts. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, do you recommend better with like dried up fruit?
The dried fruit is okay to a point. It depends on if you're someone that has diabetes and you're watching sugar intake. Dried fruit is not a good choice. Dried fruit has a lot of sugar.
You eat carrots.
Okay, it's natural sugar, but it's still sugar. Now, if you're someone that's just simply, maybe you have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, but you're not worried about your weight or your blood sugar, then dried fruit is a good option.
Yeah, I tried explaining that to my mom. I'm sorry. That because her doctor told her to start watching her sugars, and I told her it's like, Mom, you need to cut back on some of your fruits because they also have sugars in it. She goes, well, it's a fruit.
Yes.
It's like, I go, Mom, it still has sugar.
I have had that conversation with eons of people. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So, I don't know if there is a substitute or a healthy version, but my weakness is chocolate, dark chocolate, fudge rounds, just chocolate.
Yes.
So aside from moderation, do you have any tips?
Ooh.
I need to hear this one.
I do too, but I don't have that. Yeah, I mean, dark chocolate is really your best option. I mean, if you're
That's
someone,
my excuse though.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's your best option, but that doesn't mean a big candy bar. You know, a lot of times people that do like chocolate a lot, they do better if they buy like individual little tiny ones. But then there's some people that don't do better with that because they just unwrap, unwrap, right? Well, that's not helpful. So,
We can have 20 minutes.
yeah. I guess the thing that I would suggest most probably would just be limiting how much you have in the house, so that you're not so tempted.
Or like maybe hide it from yourself. Maybe.
Yeah, that might help.
One thing I do, I like a little snack at night, you know, and Rachel and I were laughing because I said, you know, sometimes it's ice cream, but most of the time it's cookies or something. I put them in the freezer
Okay.
and I take one out and then I let it thaw out and that's what I have with a cup of coffee.
That
in
is
the
a good
evening,
idea.
decaf or whatever.
Yeah.
I have one and I just let it thaw out, but I have to wait on it, you know, because it's frozen
Yeah.
solid. So I do that.
And then by the time it's not frozen and you eat it, if you want another one, then you'd have to wait for.
You have to wait
longer
again,
for-
so it's
yeah.
trying to make sure
Yeah.
that you
And
don't
just
overeat.
forget you have a microwave because that would
I
not
don't-
be helpful.
I don't put it in the microwave. I just wait.
microwave.
I know. My son. Oh, go ahead.
Sabrina,
Oh yeah, I can.
you're contagious. I've been eating ice cream at night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it helps.
Well, and that's the one thing with ice cream. If ice cream's really a downfall for you and you have trouble controlling yourself, what I suggest is you don't buy ice cream, but if you really, really think you need to have it, go to like McDonald's or, well, their machine's always broken. It's things like that. Is it not? Is it not? I don't know how it breaks so many times, but anyway. It's a conspiracy, I think. But anyway, that said, but you know, Brahms, yeah, you know, and actually it's pretty cheap from what my husband told me. Anyway, get yourself a small cone. That way you get some ice cream, and then you got that satisfied, but then you don't go home and have a whole bunch more ice cream. Okay. And then I did, Donna ordered these for me, and they're really cool. And so they're little My Plates, and most of you have probably seen this before, but it's just talking about how at meals, generally we should be having fruit, vegetables, grains, protein. Your grains is gonna be like your bread group, okay? And then it has milk here too. Now this said, usually what I tell patients is, most of us don't sit down and have all of this at a meal, right? I understand that, okay? But a lot of times what we're not having at a meal is maybe some fruit, maybe vegetables. So what better choice to snack on fruit, vegetables, then you're still getting them in, but you're not necessarily having them
At the meal.
at the meal. Does that make sense? Or even if you're not having milk at the meal, maybe some Greek yogurt for a snack. You're getting some dairy in, or some string cheese. A lot of kids like the string cheese. Actually, I like it too. But anyway, so anyway, that gives you some ideas. And then on the back, it just gives you some more healthy little tips. Eating plenty of dark green, orange, and red veggies is good. Having fruit for a dessert is actually a really good choice. Switch to fat-free or low-fat milk. Let's see what else. Get an hour of exercise every day. This is generally children ages, I'm trying to remember what they said in my training because it was a little different than I had heard before. I believe they said ages 6 through 18 need at least 60 minutes of exercise a day. Okay. Yeah, I would say for sure your age, yes. 60 minutes, he's fighting with me, but I promise you, that's what's recommended. Okay. Adults, it kind of depends, but generally it's about 30 minutes a day. But if you get 60, you go. I mean, that's not bad. We're not going to frown if you get more. Okay? Choosing brown rice over white rice, or even with breads, 100% whole wheat bread versus the white bread. And then it just talks about eating a variety of foods. Okay?
I have a question. How do you get a 7-year-old to eat vegetables?
A 7-year-old?
Would not eat them.
My family, I kind of lucked out with her. She loves her fruits and veggies, but even some of the things like, and I don't know if it's, like, I know in like the frozen aisle, like at Walmart or something, they have like tater tots that are now made out of like broccoli or cauliflower.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
They do, yeah.
And that's what I give her, and sometimes, or also, I know it's not vegetables, but I do like turkey or like veggie, like chicken nuggets.
yeah, he like nuggets.
And she never even knew that she was eating turkey burgers or veggie burgers until about a year or two ago.
She got older.
I'm going, yeah.
I like to eat like carrots and green beans and corn, but
Yeah, my sister-in-law couldn't get her either girl. And my brother was the problem, because he thought the only vegetable he would eat was corn, and I'm like, it's not, really doesn't count. But anyway, so when she would make soups and stews, she would take, and she wouldn't use as much tomato sauce like to flavor it, she would take a small can of carrots and a small can of green beans, she'd put them in the blender, and then they were eating it was blended,
Yeah, they
they
just
didn't
didn't know.
know, they ate it.
And that is good. A lot of times kids will do well with if there's some kind of a dipping sauce. Not always, but like my daughter, she'll eat carrots if there's ranch dressing or some kind of a dip. No, that won't work either.
you know,
Yeah.
when he was smaller, he did, but since
Yeah.
he's like about 5, 6 years old,
No.
I said, try this, like, ugh. I said, try this, ugh. I'm like,
What's wrong with you? Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I struggle with that with my
he
kids.
like
I'm
mashed
not gonna lie.
potatoes, he like mac and cheese, but gotta make from scratch.
Really?
Can't come out of the box.
Wow, he's real particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll eat, every now and then, he might try something at school, but he was like, I don't like that. So I set his lunch every day.
Do you?
When I put vegetables in there, but the vegetables come back home in the container.
That's
He'll eat
tough.
spaghetti,
Yeah.
but it got to have meatballs, no sauce, just the meatballs and the spaghetti.
Oh man, I was about to get excited because I was gonna say, oh, the sauce has tomato.
He'll eat rice with nothing on it,
Yeah,
no bread.
So that might be a texture thing, but
that's what it sounds like.
yeah, but to be mindful of Julie's time,
Yeah.
we want to say thank you to
Oh,
Julie
yes.
for
Yes.
presenting. And then she's available on Wednesday afternoons to talk to you about things going on with yourself and your children. Feel free to call up here to the office and we can get you connected to Julie. And she'll put you on her schedule. The holidays are coming up, so she may have some, spots where she's already filled in, but definitely would be more than happy to have y'all start seeing Julie in person. So just give us a call here at the office. Miss Priscilla waves.
It's like I don't
She's
work
our
for you.
receptionist, and she'll connect you to Julie, and we'll get y'all taken care of.